Hi there, it's Ella Hay. Today I wanted to bring you something a little different for our weekend episode. Last week, I interviewed a comedian you've probably heard a lot about lately, Zarna Garg. She's got streaming specials, a best-selling book, and millions of followers on social media. And she only started doing this 6 years ago. I sat down with Zarna and her daughter-turned-business partner, Zoya Garg, at the Washington Post Global Women's Summit. We spoke before a live audience. It was a really funny conversation, but we also hit some serious notes. We talked about how they built her business, Zarna's decision to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival and the controversy around it, and also I get Zarna's advice for anyone who wants to begin a second act in life. Okay, I hope you enjoy the show. I'm thrilled today to be joined by Zarna Garg and Zoya Garg. Zoya, thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having us. Namaste, Washington Post. Namaste.
Yeah, thank you so much for having us.
Yes, and thank you for participating in the Washington Post Global Women's Summit. I want to first ask this question for you, Zarna. As the video showed, you came to the U.S. as a teenager. You put yourself through law school. You were a stay-at-home mom for 16 years. I would imagine stand-up comedy was not on your radar as a thing that you would do. But I now ask you, now that you have become a very successful stand-up comic in a relatively short period of time, looking back on your life, do you see that comedy was always present for you, or did you come to and find comedy?
So people always told me I was funny my whole life. And that is the worst thing you can tell an Indian woman. My parents were literally devastated. They were like, we didn't get the doctor, we didn't get the engineer, we didn't even get the accountant. We got the funny one? What do you do with the funny thing? So my whole life I was like, okay, I'm funny, but like, where is my math gene? Why am I not good at math? And so people have been saying I'm funny my whole life. I just didn't think it was a job until I remember the open mic. My daughter made me go to this open mic, and the first time I was out there, I was like, white people do this? Like, on a Wednesday afternoon, this is their work?
Yeah, like in a basement of a restaurant?
In the basement of a Mexican restaurant. Indian people don't feel like they're at work unless they're like crying. Like, there's like a heart transplant waiting to happen. That's like my cousins, my
You weren't
uncles.
Stressed is what you're saying.
Yeah, we've taken 10 exams and failed and had to take an exam again. So none of this made any sense, but I've been told I'm funny my whole life.
Well, and so Zoya was the one who convinced you 6 years ago to try stand-up. So Zoya, your mom is saying everyone's always told her she was funny, but doing stand-up is different than just being funny. What convinced you that she could do it, and how did you actually persuade her to do it?
Okay, so my mom has always been so entrepreneurial. From a very young age, she raised me like a business. Like there was nothing about me that was accidental. Down to the baby carrot, everything was calculated. And so I was like, man, my mom is something special. She was starting all these businesses, a tomato sauce company, a matchmaking service, tutoring, toothbrush company too. And
okay, we're going to have to circle back on that one.
Yeah, and nobody would buy her products.
Even though the tomato sauce was outstanding, I just want you to know that.
Yeah. But people weren't buying what you were selling.
It was inedible. But people would buy just because they wanted to talk to her for an extra minute. And I remember when I was 16, I was like, you have the personality to go on stage and be a Seinfeld. And she was like, that's not a job. And I grew up here, and I grew up with stand-up comedy being a big part of my life. I'm a New Yorker, public school New Yorker, very proud of it. Yeah, and New York. And so I knew that she had this ability to make anybody laugh. I wanted her to get paid for it.
Was that the thing that got her to say, yes, I'll do it, I can get paid?
I was like, I don't see anybody else making mother-in-law jokes.
And then, okay. Well, Zarna, I want to ask you your act for those unfamiliar. You obviously, like, yes, you make fun of your mother-in-law, but you focus on the joys and the complexities of the immigrant story and journey, which is everyone has a different immigrant story and journey. But I'm wondering, your material, your comedy, are you finding it's resonating differently right now in this current moment that we're in?
Yeah, I mean, every year there's some new stress out in the world, and that affects the comedy, that affects the audience. But I think people are ready to laugh even at the whole immigrant situation. Like, there's so much anger. There's so many comics who do political comedy. So they focus on the politics of it all, and they are, pundits in their mind.
I get the feeling that's not your vibe.
No. I'm like, no matter what you believe in and no matter what you think of immigrants, you probably hate your mother-in-law. So let's just stay in that one area where we're all united.
Yeah, you're looking for common ground.
And let's build from there.
That's so... Wow. There might be a peace plan in this. So, Zoya, when I think about what you now do, you did more than just convince your mother. You run her digital strategy. You are the COO of Zarna Garg Productions. I almost think of it as the flip of the typical momager. You're like a dotager. Yeah. Feel free to take that if you haven't used it already. You're welcome. How has working for your mother and being in this sort of role with her, how has that changed your relationship with her as a daughter?
We could use an HR department. We could. I've only recently started getting paid. So, in all seriousness, it is the greatest gift to get to spend so much time with my mom. I think a lot of people graduate. I just graduated from Stanford. Thank you. Yeah. And
tell them with what degree. Tell them. Because I'm gonna die if they need to know.
I got a classics degree.
And
I also got a computer science degree.
Congratulations, Zarna.
Why are you congratulating her?
I know what happened.
She knows. Listen, she wanted to do a classics degree because she's a great writer and all of that, fine, whatever. And I was like, I'm not paying. It is so expensive. If you want to write, just stay at home and write. I am not paying. If you're at Stanford, you're going to learn computer secrets every day. I don't care. It's like if you go to the bathroom at Stanford, make sure that if there's any secrets on the toilet paper, get them all. Yeah.
Okay. I just want to open it up to the audience. Do you guys think it's hypocritical that my mom, who is a professional artist, does not want me to pursue my talents as a writer? Round of applause if you think that's hypocritical. Yeah. Listen, I didn't pay them to say that.
No. Guys, I know she's my kid, but you don't have to agree with her.
You can still love her and not agree with her.
No, but I feel like a lot of graduates oftentimes say they don't get a lot of time with their parents when they graduate. They have to move to a new city, and I don't have that problem. We spend all of our time together, 24 hours of the day, and it's been so wonderful. I think if you want to get to know anybody, you should work with them.
You'll get to know them in a different way, for sure.
Yeah, it brings out the good, the bad.
Zarna's face. Zarna, okay, I have to say, for those listening, your face, you're doing a lot with your face. And
you also get to know your Gen Z employees really well.
Well, okay, it's not just Zoya. You also, your sons help with your social media.
Yes.
Your whole family is involved in this.
Yes, because #believe in child labor.
There they are on the screen.
I had a day of thinking, why am I the only one working? What?
But on a serious note, also your husband provides financial advice. Why was it important for you to involve your family in your business? Because I think some people are like, I'm not going to do business with my family.
Yeah. I have 3 kids, right? So it first started because I knew that leaving them home alone, I was a stay-at-home mom for 16 years. The thought of leaving these kids alone, I had a moment of did they make me do comedy so I'm out of the house nights and weekends? Because that was smart, right? The job is nights and weekends. And I was like, if I leave them home alone, they're going to be up to no good. You know that, right? Look at how cute my son is. Look at it.
No comment.
The older one has green eyes. I was like, no. Some girl is going to step in there and try to take my son. So,
by the way, no regards or concerns about the daughter here.
She was fine.
Just the eldest son.
So I started taking them with me. Honestly, I took my kids along because I wanted them to learn. And
you want to learn what?
Learn how to build a business, like how to take rejection. They were with me every time my businesses before comedy failed. And I wanted them to be completely normal with the idea that most shots you take in life, you're going to fail at.
That's a really interesting point because I think, especially with stand-up, there's so much failure built in. The only way you learn how to do it is getting in front of human beings and bombing, performing badly.
Yeah.
And the fact you wanted your family to witness the ups and the downs, like what you were methodical in wanting to build resiliency in that.
It's an education and you have to learn. And they saw it. You know, it's still easier for you to take a shot and fail. It's very hard to watch your loved one. I could see my kids getting tortured. But I've had so many, not a lot actually, a few bad shows.
Wow.
and I used to do shows for Indian uncles. Like let me tell you something.
Tough crowd?
Zoom comedy, COVID years. That I was one of the first to go straight to Zoom because I knew that's where the future was.
And for people who don't know, it was like during COVID, you would instead of going to a live show, you'd log onto a Zoom and just see Zarna talking into a computer screen.
So let me tell you, in Zoom, the Indian uncles don't hold back.
No.
The chat is lit. She's not funny. She's not funny. That wasn't funny. You're still doing the show. You're reading the same chat. You're like, and as you're delivering the joke, the reviews are coming, like mid-joke. But they were all in the rooms with me because one was managing the lighting and one was managing.
Yeah.
So they saw that surviving that and having to survive that is a part of building a business.
And if it wasn't for how desperate we felt in the very beginning, because this didn't come out of nowhere. Like, it is an honor to be in this room with all of you and like really surreal, genuinely, that it's only happened in 6 years. But when we started, no New York City comedy club wanted to give her minutes, because she was a mom and that wasn't new. And at this time, social media wasn't such a big part of the equation. Like things were just getting started. And I remember a lot of stand-up comedians weren't comfortable with putting their stand-up online because you want to save your stand-up. You want to save those minutes for ticket buyers. And my brother, who was 14, was like, let's just put Mom's set on TikTok. And my mom was like kind of hesitant, like, okay, I haven't really heard of TikTok, but we can try it. I mean, nobody else is giving me minutes. And I remember we put her joke about I've never said I love you to my husband on TikTok. And
which I would never.
What's the joke?
It's only been 26 years. What's the rush?
So you put that and it went viral, right?
And it was like 100,000 views, 200,000 views, 1 million, 2 million from people around the world who were like, yes, I also have never said I love you to my husband. And after that point, it wasn't about whether or not the comedy clubs wanted to book her. It was about who wanted to see her. And I believe that she pioneered the beginnings of putting stand-up on social media. Now every stand-up comic is doing it. But 6 years ago, that wasn't the case.
After the break, more of my conversation with Zarna and Zoya Garg. We'll be right back. There is this tension among many comics of wanting to preserve their material for the live show, for the special. I mean, you already have 2 specials in 6 years in addition to a book. That's like pretty prolific as far as comics go. And I remember years ago first talking to you for a story precisely about this. And at that time, I was when I asked you that question of like, aren't you worried? Don't you want to preserve some of your material for your live shows? And I was really struck by how you talked about your audience and your fans. And at the time you told me, I'm selling a vibe here. Can you tell me a little bit more about how you knew, like from the beginning, this is how I'm going to approach it. I'm not going to worry about this.
I believe no one is going to a comedy club to hear a joke anymore. You want to hear jokes, they're available on YouTube for free. You can hear endless hours of jokes. You can even craft your own on ChatGPT. You can be like...
It's not very good, though, I have to say.
No, but you can put your mother-in-law's photo up there and be like, write jokes about her. And in a minute, you'll get custom jokes.
Wow, technology is amazing, Zarna.
Whoever created that feature at OpenAI, thank you. I think I believe that people who follow us and our journey follow us for more reasons beyond the jokes. The jokes are fine. The jokes are a way to open the door. But we stand for a lot more than that. I think a lot of moms follow me because they feel like they too can have a second act in life. A lot of women follow me because they think, oh, maybe they could, like brown women had never seen anybody that looks like them do what I do. You know. So you don't buy a ticket to go to a show because, oh, I wonder if there's going to be a new joke, which, by the way, I write jokes every day. It's my business. That's the other thing. A lot of comics are precious about their jokes as if they're only going to create for a day or a month or a week. We're in the joke writing business. I write jokes all day long. I walked here, I wrote a joke. You know what I mean?
But who gives her the material?
Now I see why you're the COO. Yeah, and you did build up this audience very quickly. And, you brought up being a woman of this, you're a brown woman, you're a woman of this age starting out, and you have reached a lot of people. I did want to ask you this other question, which is a couple of months ago, Zarna, you were one of, I believe, just 3 women who were invited to perform at the Riyadh Comedy Festival. And this was put on by Saudi Arabia.
Yeah.
Since then, many of the comedians who participated in this festival have been criticized for their participation, given the kingdom's record of human rights. And we should say that also includes journalists, including a Washington Post columnist.
Yeah.
And I know some comics who participated since then have spoken about this. They've either defended their participation or they have since apologized. For you, why did you agree to do this? Why did you decide you wanted to do this? And what do you make of the backlash now?
So the backlash was interesting because it was mostly comics who weren't invited who turned that into a press tour. And that was an interesting choice, like jobs that we were not doing. Because I don't really involve myself in decisions that other comics make or don't make. So but whatever gets them the eyeballs, I get it. Like, I'm a content creator, I get it. I personally understand. I understand the anger, especially at Washington Post, given, the history. I completely understand it. But I also understand that the women of Saudi Arabia are watching me. So my jokes are being watched in secret by those women. Like, believe it or not, I'm like the bad comic because I'm like trashing my mother-in-law. So they're watching me in secret and writing to me all day. My inboxes are full. Both my comedy specials were #1 in the Middle East. And so all these women are writing me all the time. They're like, please come to us. We want to see what you do. We want our daughters to see what you do. So I personally was caught between a rock and a hard place. And I was like, you know what? I want to go there and see with my own eyes what it's like. What are the people like? What are we dealing with here? Because you read the news in America, then I read Indian newspapers every day because I'm Indian and that's what I'm used to. And today in 2025, how do we have any hope of moving forward in some way, even with the history of that regime? So I went with an open mind, and the audience was all everyday women they're like, we can trash our mother-in-laws? Yes. Yeah. I was like, yes, let's start there.
Again, it's full circle, going back to...
if I'm your Gloria Steinem on this topic, let's go. But it is true. They had never seen this as a possibility in their lives. And I believe that even to effect any kind of change, you've got to fight for a seat at the table. You've got to show up and talk to people you disagree with, deal with people that scare you. Quite frankly, a little scary to go there as a woman. Like, we don't know. I didn't know what it's like. I'd never been to Saudi Arabia.
She didn't allow me to go.
I didn't let her
You didn't go with Zoya?
No.
She didn't allow me
because I wasn't sure what the lay of the land is. And, there were a lot of moments where I was like, should I be doing... I get it. I get why my fellow comics have their own feelings about it. But I went for the women because I'm trying my best to advance women everywhere I go. I'm trying my best to create more opportunities for women everywhere I go. My opening act on my tour is a single mom who has MS. She tours with me all over the world, and no club was going to give her a spot. But I don't want her to be stopped by this. So that's why I went. And honestly, like, the person who was most excited I was going, my mother-in-law. She was like, go do your favorite thing. Give them all your opinions. They say don't drink, but have a cocktail or two. So when I came back, she was disappointed. She was like, you're back? And I said, yeah. And she goes, how was it? I said, it was great. I got a standing ovation. And she's like, they didn't put you in prison. They didn't reprimand you. I was like, no, in fact, I think they want me back. I had a sold out show. They want to hear more stories about you.
So, Zoya, you've had this front row seat from the beginning to seeing what, I mean, I know it's not just your mother. There's a whole crew. It's a small crew. You're part of it, but it is her material. She's out there as an artist, seeing her take on this second act and everything she's built and find her voice in this way. Although you strike me, Zarna, as the type of person who always had her voice. You just brought your voice to us. How has that made you think differently about your path? You just graduated college, as you said, as you make your way in the world.
I've never seen the fullest extent of what my mom could be until she took on this second act. There's so many parts of her identity that were so like nascent and kind of hiding under the surface. And then with every gig, with every appearance like this, with every opportunity she got a little bit stronger and a little bit funnier. And her outfit in many ways is a protest to what like a stand-up comedian's outfit
Let's talk about it for those just listening. Yeah. What do you mean by that?
I mean, she wears a servant camise. Did I pronounce it right? Oh my God, every Indian.
Eye roll. There's an eye roll.
Guys, I know Latin. I don't know Hindi. But, she wears a bindi everywhere she goes, and she proudly spreads her culture. I think a lot of people sometimes ask, what's the most important job in the next 10, 20 years? I think stand-up comic. There are so few rooms left where we can actually push the political boundary of what's culturally appropriate and have these hard conversations. And I think a stand-up club is one of those rooms. And so I feel in awe that I get to work with somebody so brilliant every day.
Well, does it allow you... I don't know.
This is streaming and my mother-in-law is watching as we speak. I can see her being like
rolling her eyes a little bit, unsure. I mean, but like, does it make you think of, like, you're in awe of her, but does it empower you? Do you feel like a sense of, well, if my mom did this, like, what's to stop me from doing what I want to do?
I'm constantly under threat. I mean,
what do you mean?
Meaning, if I don't make this work, I'm getting fired.
Is there no severance package?
No, it's very serious business. I mean, she puts a lot of pressure on me. In fact, like, my most recent accomplishment within our business was I led the New York Times best-selling campaign for her memoir, This American Woman.
Which you all are getting a copy of, I believe.
Thank you.
Surprise!
It's very well documented. Forbes did a story on it, how I used AI tools to help us get on the bestseller list. But in November of my senior year of college...
Wait, how did you do that real quick?
I'll explain. I'll explain.
Hold up.
It wasn't anything bad. I didn't do anything bad, but I was very strategic. But in November, I had just completed an internship at Apple. And I was exploring technology a lot because I was in the heart of Silicon Valley. I mean, how could I not? I had this intense amount of FOMO around the AI boom, and my mom was like, go be an engineer. And I was like, oh my God, okay. And I didn't feel like my heart was really in it. And I remember I felt really lost. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what my role is. And her memoir was about to come out. And for many of you who might be unfamiliar with the book industry, pre-orders determine whether or not you make a bestseller list. Pre-orders determine whether or not bookstores stock your book. Pre-orders basically determine the success of a book. It's not about the sales afterwards. And so she looked at me and she said, hey, I need somebody to sell 10,000 copies of my book before it's out. It's going to be you. I was in my senior year of college. And my mom looked at me, she was like, sell 10,000 copies of this book, figure it out, go. And I was like, what? I don't even know what a pre-order is. I don't know how to sell a pencil. I mean, I just didn't know what to do. And over the course of like 9 months, I learned everything you could possibly learn about selling a book. I talked to AI models. I was like, how many books do I need to sell? I helped source leads for small businesses that we could collaborate on small bulk orders with. And now I've like advised incredible teams like
Wow.
Bobby Brown and Malala on their own book campaigns. And
Okay, so now you're like an AI book promoter?
Yeah,
This is amazing.
they tried to poach me, but she wouldn't let me
She
go.
wouldn't let you. So we're almost out of time. And before we wrap up, Zarna, I want to ask you this question. You touched on it, this idea of you're in your second act of life. What advice do you have out there for women and for anybody listening if they are a little nervous about taking a second act in life?
My advice is the way true to my voice. It's a little bit of tough love. You can't afford to not. You just have to. You can't afford, it's not an option. If you're living your life, you should be taking shots every day. Take shots and fail. It doesn't matter. Nobody cares. But you don't want to look back. The way I saw it when I was losing every day, I was like, even if I win the day before I die, I still won. I still won. And that's all you should be focused on. And I think as women, we cannot afford not to take shots. We all have to roll up our sleeves and get involved in the world, in creating, in engaging in every way possible, which is also exactly why I did Riyadh. It was like, it is not helping anybody for me to sit here and give a press conference. I got to go there. 2,000 women there saw what I do. 2,000 women there now know that a woman that looks like them can do what I do. And that's me. Your version could be different. Your version could be whatever other things that you want to try. But we need every human being with good intentions to get involved. And seek inspiration from the world we're in. People who should have imposter syndrome don't have it.
Okay. Well, that's a great note to leave on.
And they're running for president. You can start your chili business. It's good.
Well, unfortunately, we have run out of time. So Zarna and Zoya, thank you so much for joining me in this great conversation.